3 great indicators to tell you what parrot lifestyle would suit you best when you are choosing a new fine feathered friend. Hey guys, I'm Kaylin, the author of several books, including The Parrot Bliss Bond, 30 Perfect Apartment Parrots, Feathered Splendor, and Get to Know African Gray and Cape Parrots. Plus, I also have my coloring books. Please be sure to check out my books on Amazon at KB Raphael. My mission is to help you do the best job you can to really create the best bond, take the best care of your white-bellied kike or whatever parrot species you choose, so that you have the most blissful bond and reduce rehoming. Now, what are the 3 indicators that you can use to help you pick the right parrot for you? Number 1, mess. How much of a mess do you want to clean up? Generally speaking, the bigger the bird, the bigger the mess. If you don't want to spend time sweeping and then sweeping again in the afternoon, you might not want a big bird. If you want the mess that your parrot makes to be confined to their sort of like their space, like a very small circle around their cage, then you might want a smaller bird. Make sure to research and find out what birds are messier than others, because for example, Phoenix, my white-bellied kike, she's not that big of a bird. You know, I would call her a small, medium-sized bird. I think that's a fair assessment. And she's pretty messy. Then I have my Pionus parrot, who is larger than her, and he's less messy. So you want to find out about the birds and find out how messy they are, because, for example, if you choose a macaw, you're going to be cleaning a lot of mess. On the other hand, my mini macaw, Emerald, she's not bad at all. Now, I do have 22 species, and so within those 22 species, I think it's almost hard to notice Emerald's mess. Number 2, the cuddle factor. Some people really want a parrot that's going to be like on them and with them and on them and letting you pet them. So that's like a high cuddle factor. On the complete other end of the spectrum, there are parrots that are kind of like, I love you, but could you get a little, like, I need a little more social distancing, please. And those are going to be birds like the beautiful, beautiful, incredible Indian ringnecks. I'm not saying they make bad pets or anything, although please note that the females in this matriarchal species are not as sweet and friendly. But if you get a sweet and friendly Indian ringneck, it still doesn't mean that you really have a bird that wants to be pet. Or maybe your Indian ringneck will let you pet them, but it's probably nothing like a cockatoo or a conure. Conures are so affectionate. Even, again, my Hans macaw, she just wants to be in everything, and she would let me pet her. She likes to be with me. I mean, you know, it's like, it's almost like she puts her face right here and she's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, can I have a little personal space? So the kind of parrot, the species, really is going to determine that cuddle factor. Number 3, cha-ching, you really want to look at the price, because you don't just have your initial purchase with a parrot, and some parrots, like my white-bellied kikes, they're going to be over $1,000. But on top of the initial purchase, you have the cage, you have their food, and you have their toys. Parrots have this hook bill, and their hook bill is a beak that is in the shape of a hook. It is made really for breaking down wood. I call them Mother Nature's wood recyclers. This massive bill, massive strong hook bill, look at that. It's almost like what? 1/4, 1/3 of her whole head. It is made for cracking nuts, depending on the bird, and it is also made for breaking down wood, and a lot of birds will at least break wood down for their nest. That means that in captivity, when they aren't flying for hours trying to find food and they aren't flying around trying to make a nest, we generally give them these things. They need something to entertain them, and with that massive beak, they really need toys, and I prefer more natural toys, like natural wood toys, which they still love. You know, you can sometimes crumple paper or put paper on the outside of their cage or cardboard, and they love it. I get my best toys from Costco because I get some empty boxes, and I get what I think are the cleanest boxes, usually the ones that hold like fruit, and my birds love those. So you want to research. Number 3 is, how much is this bird really going to cost? Beyond the initial purchase, how much is it going to cost to take my bird to the vet? Do I have an avian vet in my area? Is this bird a nut-eating bird? Because there are some species, like my macaw, that require nuts in their diet every day. And frankly, nuts are not inexpensive. It really goes up there when day after day after day, we're giving her nuts. Now, most nut eaters are going to be about a 1/4 cup of nuts a day, and maybe that's not quite as expensive, although, you know, we end up having to buy like 5 different kinds of nuts so that we can mix them up for her, kind of thing. But with a macaw, it should be about 1/2 cup, and that goes pretty fast. So you just have expenses that you want to think about. And the smaller the bird, the smaller the toy, the smaller the food, you know, everything is smaller and it tends to be less expensive. The vet might be an exception for that. The larger the bird, the bigger the toy, the more expensive it is, and the faster they go through it. So I would say that those are 3 really big factors that can affect the lifestyle: the messiness, the cuddleness, and the price, that you want to take into account so that you find a bird that really fits with you, that you enjoy being with. Maybe you want a bird like an Indian ringneck that's more independent, because maybe you don't want someone who's going to be on your shoulder all the time, looking and seeing what you're doing. And it's really important to make sure you get the right bird. Now, if you are, of course, in an apartment, I have to tell you that I just released my 30 perfect apartment parrots. I've got 30 different species of parrots, and there's actually a couple bonus species for you to choose your blissful bond, who to bond with. So make sure to check that out too. If you have any questions or comments, please give us one of these and comment below, because that helps my juice and I really appreciate it. Then we will catch you in the next feathered video. La, 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 la. La, 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 la. Look at you. Look at you.